guys, welcome back, Bushcraft family, with another video. Yeah, oh boy, and we're going to talk about somebody really quick. Yep, this guy. Yeah, he's a doozy. I'll tell you that. He's as you can tell, lying again. Yeah, stretching the truth, or does he really just don't know? Biden's been claiming the last couple days that whenever he's interviewed for something, oh, we're doing wonderful. The economy is the best it's ever been. You know, when we took office, it was 9%. That's a lie. It wasn't 9%. Here, let's listen to him.
Inflation has gone slightly up. It wasn't 9% when I came in. Inflation has gone slightly up. It wasn't 9% when I came in.
9%, more than 9% when he came in. No, it wasn't. It was actually 1.4 when you took office, which was in January. Well after the worst part of COVID took place. Well after it. And you could say, well, he didn't lie, he just misspoke or something like that. But, okay.
No president's had the run we've had in terms of creating jobs and bringing down inflation. It was 9% when I came to office.
What? What did you say?
9% when I came to office.
What?
When I came to office. It was 9% when I came to office.
He said it again. It was 9%. Yeah, we get the oh, sorry, cat. We get our politicians and they lie all the time, but when you stretch the truth that much, and it's usually when they're trying to become president, not when they already are president, that they start, fibbing and stuff like that. And it's little fibs. Now, if he would have said, oh, it was 2%, that would have been, well, it was close to 2%. But when you say 9%, wow. Now, we're going to go ahead and see what people who work for him thinks about this, that what he says. And we're going to go with, his press secretary or whatever you want to call her. Let's go ahead and find what she has to say about this.
I'm going to ask you about how the president talks about inflation. So over 2 times over the past 2 weeks, the president said inflation was 9% when he came into office. Is the president misleading Americans on that? Or does he just not realize that inflation was 1.4%?
So, and thank you for the question, because I know that we got a lot of incoming on this yesterday. And look, what the president was, the point that he was making.
The point that he was making was he lied. Let's continue.
Is that the factors that caused inflation was in place when he walked into the administration?
The factors? There's always factors. But that doesn't give you the opportunity to lie and, make up stories and stuff to make you seem like you're better than everybody else. And let's see if she answers the question. Let's let her talk.
When he took office. As you know, the pandemic caused inflation around the world to be by disrupting our economy and breaking our supply chains. As you know, we had to act quickly on dealing with the supply chain. He put together a task force. You saw the president do that. And just a couple of examples here, or one example, semiconductor shortages already existed when he took office. That increased costs on everything from auto parts to washing machines by some measures. It accounted for 1/3 of inflation in late 2021.
1/3. It was conductors that did it. And it was already in place. But she did say beforehand that this affected everyone on the world. So when they tried to blame everything on Trump, wait a minute, did Trump control the world at that time? No. And when you sit there and make up things that inflation was 9%, but she can't answer the question. She can't say, well, why did he say 9% or anything like that? Nothing about this. Let's finish it up.
And many countries saw worse inflation than we did, and obviously, and we have talked about this, we've been able to come out of that economic downturn in a better place than most of our counterparts across the globe. Reopening after the pandemic unavoidably increased inflation by unleashing pent-up demand. Inflation increased quickly as we reopened. Annualized core CPI in the second term of 2021 was 9%. And so he was talking about the factors that were in place that led to that. And
the factors that were in place was 9%. Is that what she's trying to say? Does anybody get this load of crap that's coming out of her mouth?
look, and I said this earlier, going to say it again, we're going to do everything, as we were talking about CPI, we're going to do everything that we can. This president is committed to doing everything that we can to fight inflation, and that's what the president was trying to speak to.
That's what he was trying to speak to. Now, let's look at some further questions on this. Now, she never answered the question. She only said, oh, what he was trying to say. He said 9%. That he didn't say nothing about all this other stuff, transistors and resistors and, the pandemic and everything else. Let's go ahead and finish this up.
Started in March of 2020, so those factors were in place for about a year before the president took office.
Look, I mean,
those factors were in place for over a year before he took office. And the actual numbers was 1.4, not 9%. Again, falsely claiming inflation was 9%. Again, a lie. When will people wake up and understand this guy is not where he needs to be? He needs to be in a home, somebody feeding him chocolate pudding and wiping his butt and all this stuff. He doesn't know where he's at most of the time. And anytime that we see him at a ceremony or stuff, it's like a 50-50 chance he's going to fall on his face. When you think of somebody that is representing our country, how do you put Biden in that position? How do you say, oh, he's the wonderful president of our country? Do people say, I mean, it's like when you're a kid, you're ashamed of your parents or something to go to a party or something, and they show up, and when they pick you up from school or something, it's like, oh no. Let's listen again.
look, the pandemic was happening, right? That caused inflation. That was happening. Supply chain was breaking our economy. That was happening. And it wasn't just us. It wasn't just us. It was globally. And they were, and other...
What happened to blaming Trump for all this stuff. Where'd that go?
Countries, our allies and partners, were seeing worse inflation than we were. And we are able to recover, and we are in a stronger position as we recovered. But he was talking about what was in place, what was happening, the factors that led. And I talked about the second quarter of 2021, we saw that inflation was at 9%. So he was speaking specifically to the factors that...
What? What? Let's hear that again.
9%. So he was speaking specific. Inflation was 2021. We saw that inflation was at 9%. So he was speaking.
That's when he was in office. No, not when Trump was in office. That's what he's speaking of.
The factors that led to that.
Factors that led to that. No, the factors that led to that was.
Started in March of 2020, so those factors were in place.
It was your fault, and that's the only way there is to put it. The things that he put in place, the first thing he did is knock out the pipelines and our gas. We're in a pandemic at the time when we need all this fuel and stuff, and he cuts it off. That's one of the first things he does. Boom, there goes inflation, starts going up from there. Instead of opening up our own refineries and stuff in our own country, he sends our oil over to China, which his son worked for the company, and they refine the oil, turned it into gas, and then send it back here. 9%. Another lie, or is it a lie? Or is it just he doesn't know? You tell me. And I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go at that. And you decide. We're going to let you go. And like always, God bless.